the RMS Titanic, a name synonymous with tragedy. This British passenger liner, the largest ship of its time, embarked on its maiden voyage in 1912, sailing from Southampton to New York City. The ship, believed to be the pinnacle of engineering and luxury, carried over 2,200 souls. Tragically, the Titanic struck an iceberg in the North Atlantic, sinking in the early hours of April 15. Over 1,500 lives were lost in the icy depths. The disaster sent shockwaves around the world, forever etching the Titanic's name in maritime history. Imagine, however, a different outcome. Picture the Titanic having successfully navigated the icy waters, sailing into New York Harbor. The world erupts in celebration, not mourning. Passengers disembark, greeted by relieved families. Among them, Molly Brown, the unsinkable socialite, shares tales of her journey. John Jacob Astor IV, the wealthy businessman, steps ashore, ready to continue his life of privilege. The White Star Line, owner of the Titanic, enjoys a surge in reputation and bookings. The ship of dreams lives up to its name. The Titanic's survival would have had profound implications for maritime safety, altering the course of history in ways both subtle and significant. Without the tragedy that shocked the world, the sense of invincibility surrounding ocean liners would have persisted, reinforcing the belief that these technological marvels were immune to disaster. The Titanic, celebrated as the pinnacle of engineering, would have continued to inspire awe and confidence, but beneath the surface, critical vulnerabilities would have remained unaddressed. The disaster exposed critical flaws in ship design and emergency procedures, but in a world where the Titanic completed her voyage, these issues might have gone unnoticed for years. The lack of real-world consequences would have allowed shipbuilders and operators to overlook the importance of watertight compartments, proper evacuation plans, and the need for regular safety drills. Lifeboat capacity was woefully inadequate, with far fewer boats than needed for all passengers and crew. This oversight, which became tragically clear only after the sinking, would have remained a hidden danger. Regulations at the time were based on outdated standards, and without a high-profile disaster to force change, these rules would have persisted. Crew training for such emergencies was lacking, with many crew members unfamiliar with evacuation procedures or the operation of lifeboats. In the absence of a wake-up call, shipping companies would have had little incentive to invest in comprehensive training programs or to conduct realistic emergency drills. The tragedy spurred immediate changes, including the establishment of the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, or SOLAS, which set new global standards for ship safety. Without the Titanic disaster, these reforms would have been delayed, leaving countless passengers on other ships at risk. Yet in this alternate timeline, those hard-won lessons might have been delayed for years, or even decades. The absence of a catalyst for change would have allowed complacency to take root, as shipping companies prioritized luxury and speed over safety. The urgency to address safety regulations driven by public outcry and official inquiries would have been greatly diminished. Without the emotional impact of the Titanic's loss, governments and the public might have viewed maritime safety as a low priority, allowing dangerous practices to continue unchecked. The Titanic, a symbol of progress and luxury, might have inadvertently become a symbol of complacency. Its continued success would have masked the urgent need for reform, leaving the world vulnerable to future tragedies that could have been prevented. In this alternate history, the cost of ignoring safety would eventually come due, but only after avoidable loss and heartbreak. The year is 1914. World War I engulfs Europe. The Titanic, spared its icy fate, is not immune to the global conflict. Like many other passenger liners, it is requisitioned for war service. Repainted in drab gray, the once luxurious vessel is transformed into a troop transport or a hospital ship. Instead of ferrying wealthy passengers across the Atlantic, it carries soldiers to the battlefields of Europe. It brings wounded men home. The Titanic, a symbol of opulence and grandeur, faces the harsh realities of war, navigating mine-infested waters. It encounters the constant threat of U-boat attacks. The Titanic was famously dubbed unsinkable. While this was more a marketing tactic than a technical claim, the belief in the ship's invincibility was widespread. Had the Titanic not sunk, this myth might have taken deeper root. The White Star Line, emboldened by the ship's successful maiden voyage, might have continued to push the boundaries of size and luxury in shipbuilding, potentially overlooking crucial safety measures. The Titanic, instead of serving as a cautionary tale, might have become a dangerous example of hubris, leading to a false sense of security in the maritime industry. The sinking of the Titanic has captivated the public imagination for over a century. From the moment news of the disaster broke, the world was gripped by the scale of the tragedy, the stories of heroism and loss, and the haunting image of a supposedly unsinkable ship meeting its fate on its maiden voyage. The Titanic's story has become a symbol of both human ambition and vulnerability, echoing through generations as a cautionary tale and a source of endless fascination. Over the decades, the Titanic has inspired countless books, films, and documentaries, each exploring different aspects of the tragedy. Authors have delved into the lives of passengers and crew, historians have analyzed the ship's construction and the events leading up to the disaster, and filmmakers have recreated the fateful night in vivid detail. Museums around the world display artifacts recovered from the wreck, and new theories about what really happened continue to emerge, keeping the story alive in the public consciousness. Perhaps the most influential retelling of the Titanic story came with James Cameron's 1997 blockbuster film, Titanic. The movie not only introduced the story to a new generation, but also reignited global interest in the ship and its passengers. With its sweeping romance, stunning visual effects, and meticulous attention to historical detail, Cameron's film became a cultural phenomenon, winning multiple Academy Awards and inspiring renewed research and debate about the real events of that night. But imagine a world where the Titanic completed its voyage without incident. In this alternate reality, the ship would have arrived safely in New York Harbor, its passengers disembarking with little more than stories of luxury and adventure at sea. The Titanic's cultural legacy would be vastly different. There would be no tragic disaster to inspire generations of storytellers, artists, and historians. The disaster, which has been a source of endless fascination and speculation, would be absent from our collective memory. There would be no dramatic headlines, no conspiracy theories, and no annual commemorations of the lives lost. Museums might have only a modest display about the Titanic as a marvel of engineering, rather than a somber memorial to a tragedy. The stories of the passengers and crew would be less tragic, less captivating. Instead of tales of bravery and heartbreak, we might remember anecdotes of elegant dinners, grand parties, and the excitement of crossing the Atlantic on the world's most luxurious ship. The names of those aboard would not be etched in history as symbols of loss, but perhaps as pioneers of a new era in ocean travel. The Titanic, instead of being a byword for disaster and human error, might be remembered simply as a grand ship that made history by surviving. Its legacy would be one of triumph and innovation, rather than tragedy. Yet, it is precisely the story of its loss that has given the Titanic its enduring place in popular culture, a reminder of both the heights of human achievement and the depths of human vulnerability. The sinking of the Titanic sent shockwaves throughout the world, leading to immediate and lasting changes in maritime safety regulations. The disaster highlighted the need for sufficient lifeboats, improved crew training, and better communication protocols. However, in a world where the Titanic avoids disaster, these changes might have been delayed or implemented differently. Another maritime tragedy, perhaps involving a different ship in different circumstances, might have been the catalyst for reform. The lessons learned, though ultimately necessary, might have come at a different time and in a different form. In the wake of the Titanic's sinking, inquiries and investigations were launched to determine the cause of the disaster and prevent future tragedies. Shipbuilding practices were scrutinized, safety regulations were strengthened, and international agreements were forged. The sinking served as a stark reminder of the power of the sea and the importance of human vigilance. But in an alternate timeline, where the Titanic safely reached New York, would those lessons have been learned? Or would the world have waited for another disaster, perhaps even more catastrophic, to force action? The story of the Titanic is a stark reminder of the fragility of life. On that fateful night in April 1912, the world watched in disbelief as the largest and most luxurious ship ever built met a tragic end. The Titanic was a symbol of human achievement, a floating palace that promised safety, comfort, and speed. Yet, in a matter of hours, all those promises were shattered, leaving behind a legacy that would echo through generations. The events of that single night have become a powerful lesson in humility, showing us that even the grandest dreams can be undone by forces beyond our control. The unpredictable nature of the sea has always challenged humankind, and the Titanic disaster brought this reality into sharp focus. The icy waters of the North Atlantic, the darkness and the chaos that unfolded revealed just how vulnerable we are when faced with the raw power of nature. Survivors spoke of the terror and confusion, the desperate search for safety, and the heartbreak of loss. The sea, vast and indifferent, became both a witness and a participant in the tragedy, reminding us that despite our advancements, we are never truly in control. The Titanic's story is not just about a shipwreck, it is a tale of human ambition, technological marvel, and ultimately, human fallibility. The ship was a triumph of engineering, built with the latest innovations and designed to be unsinkable. Its opulent interiors and cutting-edge technology were celebrated around the world. But beneath the surface, there were flaws: insufficient lifeboats, overconfidence, and a belief that disaster was impossible. The tragedy exposed the limits of human knowledge and the dangers of hubris, teaching us that progress must always be tempered with caution and respect for the unknown. While we can imagine a world where the Titanic completed its journey, carrying its passengers safely to New York, history took a different turn. The ship's maiden voyage was filled with hope and excitement, as people from all walks of life set out to start new chapters. The calm before the disaster was deceptive, and the sense of security felt by those on board was tragically misplaced. The loss of the Titanic changed countless lives and altered the course of maritime history forever. The reality is that its sinking had a profound and lasting impact on the world. News of the disaster spread rapidly, shocking people across continents and sparking an outpouring of grief. Memorials were erected, stories were told and retold, and the names of those lost became etched in collective memory. The Titanic became more than just a ship. It became a symbol of both tragedy and resilience, inspiring art, literature, and film for over a century. In the aftermath, the world demanded change. The disaster spurred advancements in maritime safety, leading to new regulations that required ships to carry enough lifeboats for all passengers, conduct regular safety drills, and maintain constant radio contact. International agreements were forged to ensure that such a tragedy would never happen again. The legacy of the Titanic lives on in every safety measure and protocol observed at sea today, a testament to the lessons learned from that single night. The story of the Titanic continues to captivate our imagination. Museums around the world display artifacts recovered from the wreck, and people of all ages are drawn to the mystery and drama of the ship's final hours. The Titanic has become a touchstone for discussions about fate, courage, and the human spirit. Its story is retold in books, documentaries, and films, each generation finding new meaning in its enduring legacy. The Titanic, forever frozen in time at the bottom of the Atlantic, is a haunting reminder of what was lost and what was learned. Explorers and scientists continue to study the wreck, uncovering new details and preserving its memory for future generations. The ship's remains, slowly being reclaimed by the sea, are a powerful symbol of both the passage of time and the enduring impact of that single night. Today, every time a ship sets sail, the lessons of the Titanic are present. Vigilance, preparedness, and respect for the sea are now at the heart of maritime travel. Crews are trained, equipment is checked, and safety is never taken for granted. The memory of the Titanic serves as a constant reminder that we must always be ready for the unexpected, no matter how advanced our technology becomes. The enduring power of the sea and the lessons of the Titanic continue to shape our world. As we look back on that single night, we are reminded of our shared vulnerability, our capacity for resilience, and the importance of never forgetting the past.